What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to bring you another WNBA slate breakdown for the one-game showdown slate today. If you guys are new here and you're enjoying this content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you do not miss these breakdowns, and leave a like. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying this content and you liking what I'm putting out. Going over looking at yesterday, I'm gonna be honest. Yesterday was one of those outlier days that you see in sports where it's like nothing that you predict, nothing that you expected, nothing that you researched, looked at went according to plan at all. Starting with the first game, the Washington Mystics taking on the Fever. If you told me that the Fever were going to actually beat the Mystics, make the Mystics look like they don't know what they're doing out there, offense was stagnant, horrible defense, laps, breakdowns, everything. They keep multiple scorers who are normally double-digit scorers below that, I wouldn't believe you. And then the rotation, the minutes, all that, it was kind of wacky, crazy in that game. And then for the fact that Aaliyah Boston, I expected that GPP play for me. I didn't expect her to pop off how she did, but she popped off. She straight up owned Austin. The rematch, I'm going to expect Austin to come back with that fire, try to come back and light that up and do a hell of a lot better. But really, Google, what you doing, fam? But it did not look right. The only person who was able to get theirs off was, of course, EDD coming back. Surprising neck injury. She said that she didn't feel 100%, but she still went out there and dominated and did her thing. Everyone else did not come to play. I don't know if it's because they've been on the road for quite a bit, they're ready to get home, what it is, but man, oh man, that was horrible. Matter of fact, let's look at that real quick. Let's look at that. Let's see. Washington Mystics. They've been on the road for 3 games. They're gonna be back home, in 2 days. So I don't know. Maybe we could chalk this up to they was tired of being on the road. They had been on the road for a while. So maybe that might be why the Mystics didn't come to play. But the Mystics definitely lost me some money. Shakira Austin did not perform. And of course, Austin was single-digit ownership. Boston was single-digit ownership practically too. And she just completely destroyed, smacked the slate up, and did very well. And then also Kelsey Mitchell, she went out there. She did her thing. She showed me up a little bit. And then going to the next game. If you would have told me that Sabrina Ionescu being out was going to mean that the Liberty aren't going to remember how to play basketball, Breanna Stewart isn't going to hold the load and help them win, I wouldn't have believed that either. This is a super team facing one of the bottom teams in the league at home. At home. And they went out here and they got smacked up as well. Johannes, of course, who predicted that she would have been in the starting lineup. Really, I didn't think that it was going to matter too much with Johannes. Either way, she was going to be a good play. Was getting the minutes. She's playing 6 women rotation minutes anyway. So that was to be expected. Still went out there, dropped 18, 1, 4, 1. Okay, cool, great, awesome. Outside of that, you're telling me Breanna Stewart, a 20-plus scorer, held to 12 points. 1 of 14 from the field. 1 of 14 make no sense. She got 10 or 12 from the free throw line, but 1 of 14. Crazy. I'm gonna use a word that I hear the old timers use. Flabbergasted at that right there. Straight up just shocking. No production from the bench at all. And then also on the other side, the dream, they just actually came to play. Nia Coffey, one of her better games of the season. Gray, Rainey, freaking my girl. And I was on her. I talked her up a little bit inside the pregame show in that breakdown. Haley Jones, she's getting the minutes, she's getting the burn. And what did she go out there and do? 13 points, 1 assist, 9 rebounds. I would love to see more assists from her, but still, went out there and she's showing that she belongs. Now, if Haley Jones can keep this up right here, that'll be perfect, because then that's going to actually allow her to jump up there, maybe be 1 and 2 with Boston in regards to who can go ahead and take over in regards to rookie of the year and winning with that. Go ahead. But still, that's just mad crazy right there, man. Mad crazy. I don't know. But yeah, the dream, they definitely came to play. And then the last game on the slate, this one right here, I'm just going to chalk it up to injury in regards to why this just did not go the way that you would expect it to go. For the fact that Brittany Griner got injured, only played 9 minutes. And then, honestly, of course, DT... Diana Taurasi, 0 points, 0-4 from 3, 0-6 from the field. Sophie Cunningham, Sutton, Onion, only ones that actually came to play. It was just a weird behind slate, and that's honestly what I'm going to chalk this up to. It was an outlier of just random craziness that happened. Of course, you see this every now and then in sports. Normally it's on a Sunday, but we are on the get back. Like I said, we got games every single day this week. And if you guys are not wanting to miss the content, you're not wanting to miss the breakdowns and everything, going over this stuff. Make sure you guys subscribe so you guys do not miss anything. And hey, check out the Patreon if you guys are wanting to see core plays, DFS breakdowns for not only DraftKings but also FanDuel, prop plays for all sports, esports, golf, MLB, WNBA, all of that. Not only my stuff, but you're getting BK, all of his stuff that he puts out there as well for the WNBA, and then all of our other content contributors that we have for $10. You honestly cannot beat that in this industry. But going over, let's go ahead and talk about the one game that we have on today's slate. That is going to be the Sparks taking on the Dallas Wings. Of course, we have to record this and get this out early because for some reason, the WNBA decided, hey, let's play a game at 1 o'clock. Why are we playing a game at 1 o'clock? I don't know. But 1 o'clock is the time that they decided that they want to play this game. So we got an early game on the slate when there's no major other sports going on right now. Stanley Cup is over. NBA Finals is over. There's no football. Only thing you got to compete with is the MLB. The schedulers for the WNBA need to be smacked. That is my honest opinion on that. It makes no sense with the scheduling at all. How... just ridiculous. But looking at the injury report, biggest thing that we got to pay attention to for the Sparks is whether or not Cheney's going to play today. She's been out the past 3 games with a foot injury. Even if she was to come back, it's foot. I would expect her to be limited and Wnba to still get the significant run of minutes that she's getting thus far. We already seen that Carly Samuel has been thrust into the starting lineup with Clarendon being out. She's going to be out for quite some time. And then, of course, you have your other regular starters in Lexi Brown, Jordan Canada, and Nneka. So biggest thing, pay attention to whether or not if Cheney's going to be playing. One game on the slate so we can pay attention and make sure we get that news. Would not be surprised if she sits out or is limited. Going over to the Dallas Wings, of course, same starters with everything that they've got going on. Biggest thing, besides the other injuries that we've already talked about for quite some time on every breakdown, is that Crystal Dangerfield is going to be out again today. She's going to be out for some time, so I'm not going to keep covering that. But we've seen that Kalani Brown, actual center, has moved into the starting lineup, which has bumped everyone up just a little level in regards to where they normally playing at. So Howard is really back at her natural position, the power forward. Satu, she can play some 3, but I think she's better as a 4, but still dominant in her own right, playing at that 3 position. And then Burton, I know they have her listed as a starter, but honestly, she's splitting time with Odyssey Sims. So that interesting as itself. And then, of course, Enrique, your main guard, is going to be playing. So that's just really not too much injury news that we have to worry about in regards to this slate. But nonetheless, we're going to get into it. Going over to DraftKings. If you guys do not have DraftKings account, this is the site that I play on mostly. This is where a lot of my content is based on, is on DraftKings itself. Went on an amazing run last week, won some really great money, won a ticket to the Queen of the Court contest. It's going to be later on the season. Trying to win some more seats into that contest. Only 50 people are going to be in this contest. I cannot wait. 100K up top prize pool. It's just, I'm excited. Cannot wait for this contest. So if you guys would like to join me on the quest to get some tickets or just to win some good money over here on DraftKings, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and you can win some of this money too over here on the King. If you guys are not familiar with the Showdown slate format, you have your MVP or captain up top, and then you fill out your roster with the rest of your other players that you're going to slide into spots. Going over to the captain and how we want to figure it out. Of course, you're going to want the player that you think is going to score the most fantasy points. Looking at everybody, for the Dallas Wings, I'll go team by team on this one. For the Dallas Wings, of course, whoops, what was Sparks? Looking at it, of course, you got Satu, you got Enrique, and you got Howard. That's typically where all of the fantasy points and everything production for this team comes from. Satu's really kind of stepped up and been that 1A sometimes when Enrique is struggling, and Enrique will end up being at 1B. We haven't really seen a great game from Howard in quite some time. I want to say she came back in that Phoenix Mercury, the second game, and popped off, had a pretty decent game. But outside of that, we know she could be pretty consistent. I can see her being more of a GPP captain play if you're wanting to run with that, but I could also see you just running with her in the regular spot. I'm going to be honest, my bias is going to be that Satu has been very consistent, constantly producing over 35 fantasy points pretty much throughout this whole season, has the ceiling of 50-plus burgers, and I like this, especially going to be playing the 3. You're going to get that Lexi Brown defense. If not Lexi Brown, you're going to be dealing with, I really feel like she can cook Wnba. She can cook Carly, so really just feel like Satu is going to be in probably the best position, best spot out of everybody in the starting lineup, besides Enrique. Enrique going up against Canada, she's all right on the defensive end, but I just go back and I remember when Jewel Lloyd was dropping buckets on Canada, even though Canada was doing her best to try to defend her. So really, of course, when it comes to Dallas Wings, Satu and Enrique are going to be my main 2 I'd look at for the captain spot. And then I got a little bit interested in Kalani Brown. I know that opposing centers that they've done pretty decent going up against the the Sparks. So I will have some interest in regards to that. Maybe her as a GPP flyer as a captain play. Right now they got her protected for 16 fantasy points over here on um, what is it, Line Star. She has never played it. Well, she played against them once back in 2020, really, but nothing too crazy in regards to if we have a previous matchup. NECA, she's going to be out there. She's going to play majority of the minutes, but if we look at opposing centers that have played against them already, Minnesota Lynx, Collier, she kind of listed as the center, but then of course you got Dorka, the rookie. She had a decent game. Elena Smith popped off. Elena Smith is the center to me, in my eyes, for the Sky, especially once they pull Elizabeth Williams. So you got Elena Smith just popped off. Easy popped off back-to-back games going up against them. Phoenix Mercury. Brittany Griner didn't have a bad game against them. We already know that Asia Wilson goes out there and does Asia Wilson things. And then Brittany Griner, again, of course. So we know centers can definitely have their way and have a pretty good game, even though NECA is a pretty good defender in everything that she does. I know it's going to be maybe a little bit of a because, Kalani Brown, she's not like a household name or anything like that. This 18 minutes going up against New York Liberty, that was really just, I personally feel, matchup. You got her trying to defend Brianna Stewart, who is going to play most of the time at the center position. Outside of that, Jonko Jones, two bigs that can move pretty decently, especially Brianna Stewart out that three-point line, and the fact that the Liberty can play small ball as well. What she's done against centers who, to me, kind of have that same stature as NECA. Brittany Griner, she played 30 minutes in both those games right there. And then, of course, going against the Minnesota Lynx, she played 27 minutes. So really, her minute limit, I would think, is going to be probably anywhere between 25 to 30-ish minutes. I would expect her to play close to 30 minutes in this matchup, because if they don't run her out there, then they are going to be running small. You're going to see Odyssey Sims getting her decent chunk of minutes that she's going to get out there, which is someone that you have to consider. The scoring is slowly ticking up for her, and of course the playmaking is looking beautiful out there in regards to her dishing the rock and getting other people involved. So Sims, of course, is going to be someone that I'll keep on my radar, not for a captain spot, but definitely in the util. I don't feel like we have to get too cheap, of course, on this type of slate. We're going to figure out who is going to dominate for the Stars from both of these teams, and then just fill it out with the role players that are going to be in the prime position to actually pop off and do what they do. But looking at the util for everyone else, of course, whoever you don't put in the captain spot for the Wings, you're definitely going to want to have them inside of the regular spots right there. Odyssey Sims is definitely someone I feel like we should definitely have and can slide in and play as well. Outside of that, just looking around at everything else in regards to it. Going over to the Spark side, of course, you can consider having NECA in the captain spot. She pretty much is the team. She does everything out there for them. She's going to play majority minutes if she has to, if the game isn't close or they want to get back into the game. 40 burgers across the board. She's had one down game. Other than that, I don't see how you don't play her. Captain, MVP type player, and also into the util spot. All those can definitely happen right there. Jordan Canada, of course, without Clarendon being out there, we've seen her stepping up in regards to her scoring. Looks beautiful in the past two games that Clarendon has missed and was limited in. And then the playmaking is also going to be there. In the defensive side, that the Wings, Enrique can definitely turn the ball over. Something that I would expect to happen. And Canada, matter of fact, we can also look and see how Canada has fared. Google, what are you doing? We could definitely look and see how Canada has played. So in these matchups last year going up against them, really not too much, nothing to go right home about, but she wasn't really playing the minutes that she's getting now. And we've seen opposing ones going up against the Wings have pretty good games. Courtney Vandersloot, who else? Courtney Vandersloot, Diana Taurasi, she popped off. Tiffany Hayes, Heidemann, they had pretty good games. Cloud. So just looking at it, we know that the matchup is there for Canada to pop off, and definitely would be someone I would consider going ahead and sliding in and having, because you're going to want the production from the Sparks, which is going to be NECA, Canada, and possibly Lexi Brown or Hamby. Hamby has looked pretty decent over these past couple games. Back-to-back games of 37 and 31 fantasy points. If Chinny is out, I will consider definitely playing Hamby. Just the fact that she's stepping it up, and she's doing it, of course, getting the rebounds, but also on that defensive end. The steals, the blocks, I know that can be there for her. And again, in a matchup, the Wings, they want to play fast. They try to play fast. They're going to speed up the game. She's going to be able to go out there and get those steals. She's going to be able to go out there and get those blocks. Things like that can still definitely happen. Just looking at it, going up against the Sky, play pretty decent fast. Boom, she got 5 steals. Same thing, Minnesota Lynx getting into the paint, trying to score. She's getting the blocks. No, she's not going to blow you away, but if she can get that double-digit scoring and possibly yank down 10 rebounds, it's there for her. Definitely going to be there. So we just really need to know if Cheney is going to play or not for the game. So definitely just looking at that. Then outside of that, if you need some cheapies, Carly Samuelson, consider GPP play. Really doesn't do too much. She's gonna get the minutes and burn. She hasn't had that pop off game except for once going up against the Aces. Dropped 27.25 fantasy points. And then Stevens, JT, they just haven't been getting the burn and run. Both coming back from injuries. Seems to be capped probably about 15 minutes. Stevens is gonna be playing against her former team. She did play for us. About 3-4 years ago, and then Jasmine Thomas still seems like she's getting her legs back under her and she's still, getting to the rhythm. So not something that I'm gonna be running to have to play. I really don't feel like we have to get too cheap on today's slate, but just stuff to consider, stuff to look at. If you guys want my core and you want to see what exactly I'm gonna be playing, check the link down in the description below for that, and I will have that up on the Patreon later, along with a player pool for you guys. Again, like I said, if you guys want everything else, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you guys do not miss any breakdowns or anything like that. And it is your boy Zoe. I hope to see you.